Good morning. I'm at Burt Brothers Tires in Farmington, and I'm sitting next to my hero, the AP News Driver of the Century, Mario Andretti. Mario?
My pleasure,
I'm so excited
Joe.
to get a chance to sit down with you and talk a little bit.
Great.
I want to talk to you about some of the years and things that have really brought you to, well, to here
Yes.
with us. So tell me about Monza. What does Monza mean to you?
Oh, a great deal, because I was born and raised in Italy, and I saw my very first big-time race, Italian Grand Prix Monza, at age 14. And the mold was cast then, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, that's when I totally fell in love with the sport, and my hero was Alberto Ascari. But anyway, life went on, and I just pursued all my goals. And if fate would have it, it was Monza where I clinched the World Championship in 1978. So I don't think you could have had a script like that in life, So as you can imagine, just a very meaningful place for me.
And that was kind of a bittersweet win for you, right?
It was bittersweet because I lost my best friend and teammate, Ronnie Peterson, and obviously I always said that that should have been the happiest day of my career, and I couldn't celebrate, but again, just a lot of meaning there.
Well, I imagine you probably felt like Ronnie was still there with you, though, didn't you?
Ronnie was, like I said, when you have that type of friendship, you always feel that, they're still with you, and again, life is never the same, but life must go on, those are precious moments in your life, and then when they're cut short, it's a big void.
How about 1955 in Nazareth?
55 in Nazareth, that's when we arrived from Italy. I was 15 years of age, and 2 days later I discovered there was a racetrack nearby. So the pursuit began. Then my twin brother Aldo, and we started building a car 2 years later in 1957, and in 59 we started racing, and I never looked back.
How confident were you at that car, that first car?
Oh, kid confident, you know what I mean? Like, you figure it's got to go. And we didn't have really time to train or anything. It was just like, driven by desire, passion. And then, just started doing this stuff, and one thing led to another. Then you just gain experience as you go, and you make mistakes and all those good things.
People tell me when talking about you that the big thing, and you even alluded to it a little bit when we were talking about flying planes, you take everything to the absolute edge of the envelope.
Well, when you're a competitive sport, that's what you got to do. I mean, what it is in the Olympics and so forth, it's just because somebody else is going to do it. That's why when I was describing for my book about qualifying, my quote is, if everything seems under control, you're just not going fast enough. And that really applies. You just got to be right on that edge consistently, otherwise somebody else will.
69 in Indianapolis. Let's talk about that a little.
Well, it's obviously it was a great day because career-wise, Indianapolis is so important. You almost have to put it under your belt because you're judged by that, and it's unfair, I think, one race because look at my son and other drivers who have dominated. I mean, absolutely should have won it, but they didn't, and again, they're almost slighted a bit because of that. So that's how 69 was so important, because once I did that, I figured, maybe I'll be lucky enough to win a few more. And if there were 400 miles, I think I'd have won 6 of them, but there was that extra 100 miles. Again, meaningful time in my career. And again, do it for Andy Granatelli, it was a lot of satisfaction.
That's awesome. You were there with Marco this year. How was that when he? I imagine that was a little tough seeing him hit a wall.
Well, yeah, that obviously, those are the terrible moments, in our sport. But it was unfortunate that it was a bad call in the pits that really kind of sealed his fate in this race. I know he's the only one that could have actually challenged the Ganassi cars if he would have been in that position. And that's the most disappointing part, because he led the most laps. He had the fastest lap of the
Yeah.
race. He did everything except win it, you know. And
He drove the wheels off of it though. Just
he
like you.
drove. I mean, flat out. And like I said, there was just bad luck in the one pit call that took him out of the picture because it put him a lap down. He still came back, and actually, when he crashed, he was fighting for fourth place, which, you know, was at least something. So, you know, again, you don't have that many chances, and I know he can drive there. You know, he's another one that he can win. It just maybe a little bit of luck sometimes.
Talk to me about when you went to Daytona. So that would have been in 1967. You took a little bit of heat for, you know, switching over and trying out the NASCAR stuff. Tell me about that.
Well, you know, I had opportunities because at that time I had a really great relationship with Ford. You know, they had their engine in the Indy cars, and then I was doing some Can-Am and so forth. So and the sports prototypes. So I expressed my desire to do Daytona, and actually it was my third try there, and it was with their, you know, their factory team, the Holman and Moody team. So I knew I was in good hands, and you know, things just worked out. You know, it didn't start out like that, but then finally, you know, we got the car really the way I wanted it, and I kicked butt in that race because I led 118 of 200 laps.
Wow, that's awesome. So another one that it comes to mind immediately is Milwaukee, the Andretti podium.
Yes, indeed. It was, I think, 1990.
91?
91, yes. Yes, it was Michael winning, John second. I was third, but all Andretti. Yeah, that was a proud day.
I bet. You guys are, I mean, you're really the family name in racing, and you're still the name that my mom or grandmother gives me anytime I drive too fast.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, when you're naughty.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the next one that I'd have to ask was Portland with your son.
Yeah.
Father's Day.
Father's Day, 1986.
Yep.
Yeah, it was obviously, it was a great day for me. You know, Michael should have won that race, but he had some issues, fuel pickup right at the end, and I was running second. There's no way I could have caught him. And so I got, you know, screaming from my engineer, Michael's having problems. So
Were you excited at this moment? You know,
yeah,
you might take him?
Yeah, I really stood in that seat. And so we're dragging down the straightaway for the checker flag, and I beat him by 7/1000ths of a second. And he was not happy on the podium, but then he realized it was Father's Day, so he said, "Happy Father's Day, Dad."
Yeah, that's great. Did you must have had a real enjoyment of the fans there, because that's right along that straightaway is just where all the fans are pretty much, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Can you hear them when you're driving by at all?
Yeah, you can hear, you can see all the movement and so on and so forth. Believe it or not, you observe, you see those things, and you feel that.
That's awesome. Your last race, which was Phoenix, right? The last win. Tell me about that race. Is that one of the ones where you wish you could have turned off the car so you could hear them? I mean, is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, at 53 years of age, certainly I wasn't expected to, you know, to be that competitive, and that's where the satisfaction really comes from. And my biggest fear was obviously to overstay, because I was pushing the envelope then, you know, over 50 at this level of racing, but I loved it so much, you know, I just didn't want to give it up. But I still felt that I still had something for him, you know, at the right time. And so to be able to accomplish that, I think it was, you know, pretty much, I was vindicated for staying on that long.
Yeah.
But then I decided, you know what, the following year, I think this has to be my last. And I had some regrets at the beginning, but after that, I figure I made the right decision.
Are you feel pretty good where you're at now, though, where you're coaching and you're developing, and is that as rewarding for you?
Yeah, life is good now. It's no question. I mean, it's the companies I work with, like Firestone and so forth, the companies that I've been with during my years as an active driver, you know, just right from the beginning of my career in Indy cars, and I just love to be part of it because I understand the product, I understand the culture of the company,
right.
and again, it's the work that I enjoy. Just visiting here,
Yeah,
you know, with Burke Brothers. You know, it's one of these things that you know, you get to meet the core, what really makes you know, what the company successful. You know, it's the dealers like the Burt Brothers, for instance, and I get to see, I get to visit many throughout the country, and it's very rewarding. This is a family business. It sort of resonates with what I do, you know, very much. So all of it really works for me.
You really relate to the guys here at Burt Brothers. They're
They're wonderful, wonderful people. I tell you what, they're a real asset to the community. If I was here, this is where I would want, honestly, where I would want to have my car service. I mean, the integrity of this group is just beyond reproach.
So I've got a couple of things to just get some people familiar with what you're like the rest of the time, okay? So your favorite food?
Oh, it was, you know, it's something that you probably don't know. It's squid and rice.
Really?
It's a it's a black squid and rice that probably people don't know about. My mother used to just.
Does this account for the great speed, squid and rice? Maybe that's
Probably.
the secret?
Probably.
The Andretti secret sauce, squid and rice.
Secret sauce.
All right, how about favorite teammate over the years? Can you say that one?
I would say Ronnie Peterson.
Okay.
Ronnie or my son Michael, you know, they fall into that category.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm sure Michael will be glad to hear you rise.
Yeah, it was, you know, the
high
thing about that
level
relationship, it's usually with a teammate, no matter how close you are, you don't share everything.
Yeah.
But with your son and stuff, you go a step further. You do a lot more of that.
You share a couple of staggers with him and things?
Yeah, you do. You know, you don't get much back, but you do. You know, because you're.
I'm sure he's not trying to give the old man any secrets,
no,
right?
No. If he found something, you know, I didn't get it. But anyway.
Favorite car to drive when you're not on a track?
Well, actually, right now my everyday is my ZR1 Corvette. You know, and I have, you know, a couple other sports cars, but that's the one that I just usually choose.
Are you a Mac or a PC?
Mac.
There you go. I think that's a good answer. Favorite track? You drive any track?
Any track where I want to race. You know, it's I've been asked that question many times, and I don't have a really specific favorite. But when you win a race, anywhere you win a race, you have that fond memory.
Favorite quote?
Well, it's my own, actually. If everything seems under control, you're just not going fast enough.
That's awesome. I think we'll end it on that. That's the perfect note. Thank you so much for being on the show and for letting me have some time with you.
Thanks for
having me,
Mario
Andretti on Park City Television here at Burt Brothers. And thank you again.